Coders, I'm back again, and this time we'll be learning how to design your own GUI through Python. So in Python you don't have that tools available where you can simply pull out the tool set and push the buttons on your form. There is no form even, there are no checklists, there are no list box until you write them. So in Python you have a simple module called Tkinter, and you can start writing your stuff by importing that. There are many other modules in the market. When I say market, of course internet. There are many stuff, there are many things that you can use instead of Tkinter, but I would really appreciate, or I would really recommend Tkinter only because it's very simple to use, and it's a default installation if you install Python or Anaconda on your system. I have Visual Studio Code open on my system. Totally depends upon you whether you want to use this, Sublime Text, Jupyter Notebook, anything you can start with. So what we'll do is we'll start writing a simple import statement, which is import tkinter, and that's all. What we have done is we have imported tkinter into our system, and now we have to just write the code. So in Tkinter, what happens is, so suppose if you're making any other applications, or even if you're starting your functions, you basically name them. So what we are trying to name here is the form that we'll be using. So we'll be naming it root, and we'll be saying tkinter dot uppercase tk. Now this means that we have said that root will act as an application for us, and we want this to run over and over again. So by writing main loop, we are saying that this will run over and over again. So in Python, what happens is anything that you write, it runs repeatedly, and it is so fast that you see it in one go and you don't see it blinking. And a user thinks that there is a display over here and there is a GUI available on the system, and actually what is happening, it's repeating itself, it's pasting the buttons again and again, and it is so fast that you see it in one go. And now what we'll do is we'll name the application by writing root dot title, and we want to give it a title of my first GUI. And now what we'll do is we'll give it a geometry, and geometry means the size of the window that the application will be taking. So it is not going to be a very large one, so we'll be putting a resolution of 300 into 200. So this is how we present a geometry to the application that we want to build. And then we'll start writing a header for our application, and then header starts from tkinter dot, what we want to do is we want to import the label, and remember it's a uppercase over here, and you start where you want to place the label. We want to place it on root, which is basically our name of sub application, and we'll start giving it a text, and text is log in here. As I was telling you, Tkinter has many options when it comes to placing your widgets, and in this video we'll not be covering the pack one, we would be covering the grid one. So how grid works, it's very simple. So I'll show you how the grid works by using MS Paint. Yes, I can explain the same through MS Paint. So what happens in grid is that this is a row and this is a column. Yes, and I'll tell you how. So what we want to do is we want to place the header in row number 1. So what we'll do is we'll say header, and then we'll use grid, and grid would ask for 2 parameters. The first one is row. We want to place the same in row number 0. Remember in Python things starts from 0, and column will be 0 again. We want to place it on the top. And now what we want to do is we want to tell the user where he or she needs to put the username. So before that we need to tell the user that this text box is for username and this text box is for password. For writing those texts, what we'll do is uText equals to tkinter. Again we'll use a label function, right where we want to place it. Again, of course, we want to place it on root, and the text would be username, and we want to place it, of course, this is not Y, this is U. we want to place the same on row number second or first though. We'll place it on the first because the 01 is carried by header. We'll say row equals to 1 and column will be 0. We want to do a very left diversion for it, and then we'll copy the same and then we'll write Control V and then change it to p text. Remember to do the same here as well, and instead of username we'll try to type password. And now what we have is we have username and we have password, but we don't want them to be placed on the same place. So what we'll do is we'll do row number 2. So this will be the first thing which will appear, and then this will be the second one, and this will be the third one. Now we want text boxes where people would be entering their stuff. So what we do is username text, and then what we'll do is we'll import entry widget. And entry widget is where you place text, and you want to place it in, of course, root, and then you copy the same and then paste and then do a grid function. And on grid what we want to do is where the username is, it's on row number 1, so of course we want it on row number 1 then, and then the column would be, so it's 0 here, so what we want to do is we want to do column 1 so that it comes just next to this one. And then we'll do the same for password as well. So pass text equals to Tkinter, and then do an entry one. So entry widget, where you want to place, of course we want to place it on root, and then there'll be nothing when it comes to text, and then we have to place it. So what we'll do is we'll try to copy this and then we'll paste it and then do a grid function. And where we want to place it, we want to do it on row number 2, just because the password is on row number 2, and the column would be row number 1. So this is how we have username text, which is basically the label one, and we have the text boxes for the same as well. But now we need a button, so a login button is something that we need. What we'll do is we'll do tkinter dot button. The moment you have button, where you want to place it on root, and the text should be login, and then where you want to place it, what we'll do is we'll place, so row number 1 is taken, row number 2 is also taken, so we'll do a row number 3, and column would be 1. And then what you can do is you can simply do a Control S on your system. On my VS Code, what I can do is I can simply run the code and then it'll start working. Let's see what the result is. And the result, oh, we have an error here, but we'll just because we forgot to write dot grid. And now let's see what the result is, and let's wait and let's see whether we have got what we were designing for. And yes, we have that simple GUI with us, where you can write the username and you can write the password. Right, this is how you design a simple GUI in Tkinter. There are many complex things and there are many options available in Tkinter only. You can make list boxes, check boxes, you can have different frames, you can have different tabs as well, but that is not the part which can be covered in basics. That's intermediate stuff, and we'll be covering that as well. Stay tuned and please subscribe.